Hello everyone, welcome to the second edition of VW Momentum Conference 2025. We have a very special guest with us, Ms. Samyukta Iyer, former CMO of Baskin Robbins, Sephora, and now the founder of The Simple Thing. Samyukta, now with a vast experience in marketing, we have been talking about it since I think quite a few months. We were striking chords, but again, generative AI is something that is no more new. It was a buzzword, I'll say, a year ago, but now we are actually implementing it. But again, we are seeing very limited use of generative AI in marketing by brands. Has it become just a tool or something to talk about? Or do we see something more happening in marketing with Gen AI actually being used to its optimum use, as we usually India, takes after the West? But where do we see this now in India?
First off, thank you for having me, Reema. And I think fantastic question. Where is Gen AI headed? And why is it not being used enough? I'm going to approach this from the space between the space that I operate in, which is between brand consulting and executive coaching. And if I have to wear the coach hat at this point in time and look at it from a very outside-in perspective of what's happening with marketing, I think there's this entire space of, there is this curiosity. Marketers are curious. They are, by nature, they are innovative, right? They want to know more. So I think there is definitely a lot of curiosity in terms of tinkering around. And I hear a lot of marketers and CMOs in our conversations where they do tell me that, ChatGPT is down today, it's not working well enough, so I moved on to Perplexity, or, Grok is doing a much better job, or Claude is doing this, It's literally like they are their little teams, that are sitting at the back end helping them out. So are they using them? Yes. Are they using them enough? I'm not too sure. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fear, right? Because I think we just heard somebody in the audience during our panel session today where somebody said, I don't allow my team to use ChatGPT. Why wouldn't you? When you have someone who can simplify, when you have someone who can do a lot of the mundane tasks which would have otherwise taken you years and months and weeks to kind of get it done, what is the harm in adopting to new technology? Now, this is clearly my point of view, but that's I think MarTech moving to mind tech kind of a space that is kind of, I think that's what's coming in the way. Even if someone were to kind of use it, there is somebody going to say, hey, did you pick this up from ChatGPT? What's the harm in picking it up from ChatGPT? You always can. I think it's all boiling down to saying, are you training yourself and are you training your people to give the right prompts? Because right now, I think IT is very well versed with doing all of this very well. They're still working in silos when it comes to the tech part of it. I think marketing truly adopting technology, and I think it's the CMOs, the bosses, the CEOs, not questioning the CMOs saying, why are you guys doing that? I think that's when the real generative AI transformation from a human transformation is really, really going to happen.
Wow, that's a very well-versed answer, actually. Okay, now, a typical and not so typical marketer question. Every year we see marketing spends going high. Every year reports come out which says that, okay, we marketing spends have reached to this billion or to this billion. But every year we also see marketers talking about that the pressures that they have, that, okay, we do not have budget for this. When marketing budgets are increasing, how do marketers don't have marketing budgets to spend on a particular campaign? What is this brand paradox that we are witnessing in the industry today?
Again, I think fantastic. Are budgets increasing? Yes. Is the baseline going up? Yes. I mean, at the end of the day, we are operating in a space where businesses have to grow. So when businesses grow, everything grows with it, including the budgets. I think the sub-question or the subtext below this would be, where are the budgets being spent? And I think that's where the paradox is kind of hitting us, right? I think there is a lot of ask in terms of saying, why don't we implement this new thing? Someone else has done this, why don't we implement this? So then there is budget being spent on beta testing something, right? Then there is this entire space of saying, hey, the CFO wants to know what is the ROI. Or there is this entire, I think, anxiety in terms of saying, how do I attribute? I did CRM, ORM, I did my performance marketing, I did my social media marketing, I did everything. What do I attribute to this growth? There is also that conundrum that marketers are constantly facing, because they're constantly being asked to tell them or tell the board or tell the management or tell the CFO and the CEO very, very clearly saying, मैंने 1 रुपया खर्च किया, उसका ROI कहाँ से आ रहा है? They don't know. It's not even possible. 10 years back, marketing didn't work like this, right? Because it was a lot simpler. Did the budgets grow? Yes. Even if it was the same budget, you know you were spending on ATL, there was a TV campaign going live, there was radio, there was print. You knew exactly, there was outdoor. There was probably some train, bus branding, in a city like Bombay, all of that was happening. And then there is no exact source attribution. Marketing does a 360 campaign, and then, if the sales grow 3 months later, fantastic. You can attribute it to the overall campaign. Today, with the advent of digitization, while it's great, like we just spoke in the previous question, understanding that is very, very critical. But I think just giving marketers that little bit of space to breathe, to learn, to understand, and I think the two questions are kind of interlinked. Just allow them to learn technology, experiment with it, almost like, like a playground. Let them play around with all of these little tools that are available, and then slowly let's figure out the attribution. That'll come. But I think that patience is lost, because suddenly it's like, I'm spending 10 rupees. I want to see, because there's an algorithm. Everyone's opening up, the back end of each of these platforms and saying, where's it come from? Why is it not come here? Maybe this ad is not working well enough. Let's do a beta testing. I think that's where the paradox is kind of overtly visible, though the spends are happening, if you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely, absolutely. We would talk more about it, but today we'll end it just here. And thank you so much, Samyukta, for joining us at the second edition of BW Momentum Conference and for gracing the event with your presence. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.